Okay, guys, these are the two that we did in class. I'm going to go over the remaining. You needed to do 1 through 11 for your homework tonight. And we will do the back in class. We'll talk about those. Just to recap, because you need to kind of do that for number 3. On your color paper, we had that yellow or green, depending on which one you had. We had a proportion for geometric mean for 2 number. And that proportion says A, this is just notes, over X equals X over B. Okay, the reason why I did these 2 colors is so you can just understand the parts, because this makes you set it up correctly when you have to work backwards, which is what we have to do on 3 and 5. So just so we know, if I'm looking at A and B, these are our 2 numbers, which we call the extremes, okay? Now, I'm not going to ask that in like a test, but understand the extremes are the 2 numbers, okay? Now, X right here and here, this is the means, which are basically our geometric mean. So if I have to work backwards, this is where I put the geometric mean to find a missing number, which is what we're going to do. And I kind of abbreviate that. So on number 3, it says 15 is the geometric mean of 25 and what other number? Okay, so 15 is the geometric mean. So 15 has to go in place of this x that I have here. Of 25, that's one of the numbers. So basically, 25 is one of the numbers over 15, that's the geometric mean, would equal 15, which is where we put the other geometric mean, over another number. And the other number is the one we're trying to find. That's the one I don't know. Now, if you want, I can change that variable so it won't confuse you. So I'm going to make this y, some other number. So here, we're just going to cross multiply to solve for y. So when we cross multiply, okay, we're going to get 25y equals 15 times 15. Use your calculator if you're not too sure, but you're absolutely right. You said 225. And then we're going to divide by 25 on both sides. And so y, that other number we're looking for, is 9. Okay? So on number 4, find the geometric mean of 3 and a number. So now they gave me the 2 numbers. So I'm going to do 3 over x, because that's the geometric mean, equals x over 7. Okay, and this one is like your note. So I'm not going to work all this. I'm going to just say, look at notes. Okay, or you can say yellow / green paper. Alright, so now 5 is requiring us to work backwards again. So I'm going to extend the page just a little bit. It says 32 is the geometric mean of 16 and what other number? So remember, 32 is the geometric mean. So if I have a over b, excuse me, I said b. A over x, this is how we set it up, equals x over b. 32 being the geometric mean would go here and there. So I'm going to substitute. Our other number is our a. So 16 over 32 equals 32 over y. That's the number we're trying to find. So we're going to cross multiply, and we're going to get 16y equals, is this right? 1025? That doesn't sound right. Let me go back to my calculator. Oops, right here. 1024. Okay. So there it is. 1024. Then we're going to divide by 16. So either on your cell phone, hopefully your calculator, we get 64. Okay. So y equals 64. Right, so keep using those notes to help you on this next part, and I'm going to walk you through it. So when we go here, it says solve for the missing variable. So on our problem, I know it's kind of, the numbering is a little bit off, but I'm hoping you need to recognize what method to use. Remember, if you have the altitude, that means a number on the inside, then we use heartbeat. Heartbeat, we follow the heartbeats like the EKG. So we're going down to 12, go up the X, come back down X, out on 8. So our proportion here would be 12 over X equals X over 8. And then we're cross multiplying, and we get X squared equals 96. Then we have to take the square root. And so when we go to our calculator, control X squared gives me my radical sign, 96. This is not a perfect square. So they asked for the decimal answer and the simplified radical. So this is approximately 9.8 because we're going to round to the nearest 10. Or we're going to simplify this 96. 96 can be broken down to 16 times 6. So basically what I'm doing is taking the square root of 16 and the square root of 6. Square root of 16, this is a perfect square. That's just 4. 6 is not a perfect square. So that just leaves me 4 square root of 6. Okay? So with that being said, and I will say again, look at notes, because this one might be an example we did. You are responsible for 7. Should be using heartbeat. I'm going to go on to number 8. All right, so because we have no value here, which we know is the altitude, okay, so I can't use heartbeat. But I have X is a leg and Y is a leg. Whenever I'm trying to find a leg, this is when we use correct if you said boomerang. Now remember, to do our boomerang, we have to use the whole hypotenuse. So the length of this whole hypotenuse is 10. So I'm going to do my boomerang. I know I wrote it in red, but I'm going to do it in blue so you understand following boomerang. That's different than heartbeat. All right, so boomerang means I'm going to go the whole side, which we know is 10, to the leg, which is X, come back to X, stop at that segment. So this would be 10 over X equals X over 4. And we're going to cross multiply here. X times X will give me X squared. 10 times 4 will give me 40. Then we take the square root of that. And if I go to my calculator, control X squared gives me my radical. Put the 40 inside. Again, it's not a perfect square. It's a decimal. We want that decimal to the nearest tenth. So this is approximately 6.3. And then I want it to simplify this. Okay? I want to simplify it. So, or I'm going to simplify that 40 to 4 times 10, which we know 4 is a perfect square. What's the square root of 4? It's just 2. And then the 10 is what remains. So we have 2 square root of 10, or approximately 6.3. Okay? So we have to do the same thing for y, but now we're going in the other direction. So I'm just going to kind of recap. The second boomerang, we're going the hypotenuse to the leg, leg back to that segment. So for y, we're going to have the proportion 10 over y equals y over 6. Okay? So I want you to try to see if you can get that one. It is a decimal answer, and if you can at least get that, I can give you the partial credit and a simplified radical. So try that one. Cross multiply. Then on number 9, because again we have this altitude, then we are using heartbeat. Okay, and we're going to set up our heartbeat. Our heartbeat goes to X up 10. Okay, so we want X up 10, back down 10, so that's 10, over and then out to 25. So this would give me x, oh sorry, x times 25 is 25x equals 100. And then we're dividing both sides by 25, which I think you know. If not, put it in your calculator. So you should be able to give me that answer. Okay. Now, to get to the y is over here. It's a leg. This is when we do boomerang. So we should, once you solve it, we should have got x to be 4. So now I can put that 4 and place the x. To do the whole hypotenuse, that's 29 2y, and then I'm coming back and stopping at that 4. So 29 over y, and I probably should come over here. 29, that's the whole segment, over y equals y over 4. And we're cross multiplying here. So we get y squared equals 29 times 4. Let's check that real quick. So we're going to go to my calculator. 29 times 4 is 116. Then I'm going to try to do the square root of that, which is a decimal, round to the nearest tenth. That's going to be 10.8. So if we had 116, take the square root. This is approximately 10.8. Okay. All right, so if we need to simplify this, I can simplify this into a smaller radical by doing 4 times that 29. It just happened it worked out this way. It doesn't always. We know this is a perfect square, so that comes out. So gives me 2. The square root of 4 is 2, and what remains inside is the 29. Now, let's look at 10, our last two. Okay? Let's end this page. Alright, so to do 10, hopefully we're doing heartbeat. It comes out to be a perfect square. Just make sure you're on the right track. Okay, so that means 7. Oops. Let me go back. Heartbeat. 7 up x, so that means 7 over x. Come back down x equals x over 28. There's your heartbeat. Okay? We're following the heartbeat. Watch that video again if you need to. And then this comes out to a perfect square. So I'm going to leave that one because that's nice and easy. But when we get to y, y is boomerang. So we have to use the whole hypotenuse. So 7 plus 28 is 35. 2y, come back down y, stop at 28. So 35 over y, because we remember we have to add those together, equals y over 28. Okay, so here we have y squared equals 980. And we're taking the square root of that, which comes out to approximately 31.3. But I can simplify to 196. Yeah, 196 times 5, which comes out to be 14 square root of 5. Okay, so even if you can't get to the radical, the decimal will get you to the right answer. So just make sure we can do that. All right, and then 11, boomerang, comes out nice and neat. Go ahead and finish that. And we're checking them in the morning in class. Thanks for taking care of this.